What is going on, guys? We are fresh off of Santa Clara. We're fresh from 49ers practice. And we're going to just hop straight into the notes. We're going to hop straight into all the stuff that's going on. And we'll get right into it. So some of the first things that I do want to touch on are of course, administrative stuff. We got Emmanuel Moseley back, and he showed up right away. Instantly showed up right away, and we're going to get into that. But Emmanuel Moseley is back at practice. He has been brought up off the reserve COVID list, same as Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings was back. He looks good. This was actually the first time that I just realized it as I was sitting down. It was the first time that I've ever actually seen Juwan Jennings in person, because again, he got drafted last year, right? And last year was his rookie season, and of course, we didn't get to see any of these guys in person. So today was my first day to get to see Juwan Jennings in person, and he looks pretty good. For his size, he looks big. Again, you see the size instantly, but he has really good movement skills for the size. So it was a first good impression on Juwan Jennings. Some other admin stuff. I believe Samson Ebukam didn't practice today. Who else didn't practice today? There was a couple other guys that didn't practice. But for the most part, we had everyone available. And yeah, so I think that was pretty much it for most of the admin stuff. But I'll start with Emmanuel Moseley. I'll start right away with Emmanuel Moseley. So and it was the first time we got to see Emmanuel Moseley rocking the number 4 as well. I'm telling you, these DBs for the San Francisco 49ers, whether it's Jimmy Ward, Jason Verrett, or Emmanuel Moseley with the single-digit numbers, we might have one of the cleanest-looking defensive back groups in the league next year. You got Thing 1 and Thing 2 in Jason Verrett and Jimmy Ward, and then, of course, Emmanuel Moseley in number 4. I just want to go in real quick on Emmanuel Moseley because it was exciting to see him. Again, he just got pulled up off the reserve COVID list, and second rep of team period, the second one, Jimmy Garoppolo tries to hit Deebo Samuel on an out right in front of the sideline, right to the sideline, right in front of us. So we really got a good look at the whole play and how it all came out. Emmanuel Moseley had really, really good coverage on Deebo Samuel for the most part. And he did what Emmanuel does. I swear he does this all the time. He just waits in these wide receivers' hip pocket. He just waits there because I think he has the length to be able, and of course the explosion to be able to burst and break on the ball when it leaves the quarterback's hands. And again, we got to see that length from Emmanuel Moseley. He broke up the pass from Deebo Samuel, or from Jimmy Garoppolo to Deebo Samuel, and he was hyped. You can tell he'd been waiting to do that for some time, to get back out there on that field. And again, second play of team, and Jimmy came after him. Tried to get Deebo, and Emmanuel Sanders said, nope, not today, no fly zone. And the whole defensive line was super high, or not the whole defense. It happened right in front of the defense on the sideline. So the defense got super hyped up, super juiced. Emmanuel Moseley was juiced. He was extremely happy. I was happy for him. So it was really, really good to see Emmanuel Moseley back. And again, he's already making plays. Again, it was a second rep of team period. Had a solid pass breakup. Since I'm on the defensive backs, I'll just stick there. I'll just stay with the defensive backs for now. For the most part, all of camp, Jason Verrett looks like a Pro Bowl cornerback. By all accounts, everything we've seen, he looks like a Pro Bowl cornerback. Ayuk did get him on a really nice slant route. It was a deeper slant. But Ayuk got him, and Jimmy put the ball on him. And it was a good pass by Jimmy, good catch and route by Brandon Ayuk. Verrett was still in good coverage. He was still trailing. It was just, better route, better ball placement. But for the most part, Verrett has been playing lights out and really giving Brandon Ayuk fits quite a bit. Um, so that's one thing that's really promising and special out of that group is those two guys are going to make each other better. Tavon Wilson, arguably one of the strongest reps from practice today. He had a pass breakup on George Kittle. Again, George Kittle so far has been unguardable for the most part in team periods and one-on-ones. There's only one player that has given has given George Kittle any kind of problem, and that's Tavon Wilson. And he's done it on multiple days, multiple occasions, in team, in one-on-one. Tavon Wilson is starting to look like a player for us. So again, he had another extremely strong rep. Again, it's one versus one, so it's just predicated on coverage, man versus man. And Tavon Wilson had great coverage, and then when the ball came, he just was all over Kittle again. He's the only one that has shown Kittle any kind of trouble. That's it. And speaking of safety, Jaquaski Tart today has been placed on the PUP. He is dealing with a toe injury, from my understanding. So we're not really sure when he'll be back. It could be a week or so until he gets back. But Tavon Wilson is playing extremely well in front of him. Richard Jefferson, who we signed before camp, he hasn't been doing anything to really stand out. So it really feels like Tavon Wilson right now is running away with that starting job opposite of Jimmy Ward. So for the most part, seeing Tavon Wilson and Jimmy Ward together with Verrett and Emmanuel Moseley felt good. Felt like our defense was the most whole it's been since I've been there to watch. Um, the coach, thank you, bro. I appreciate you. The coach says, "How did E-Man look? Like literally look? Was he in shape? Did he just throw? Did they just throw him in the fire? Did they ease him in? This is great news, coach. They threw him into the fire. They said, E-Man's back. Let's go. They threw him straight into the fire. They gave him, again, like I said, it was the second rep in team period. Jimmy Garoppolo went right after E-Man. He went straight to Deebo Samuel on an out to the sideline, and E-Man was all over it. Like I said, he did his thing where he just waits in that hip pocket, and then when the ball comes out of the hand, he uses his burst and length and long reach to break up the pass. He got up so hyped. You could tell how hyped he was, what that rep meant to him based on him being out the last week and not being able to be out practicing with his brothers and seeing all those things happen by him not playing. So, E-Man, really happy. Like I said, second rep team period, they came at him and he said, "Not today." He did the finger wag. He said, "Not today, sir." So to answer your question, Coach, it was business as usual. There was no pitch count, at least from my understanding. There could have been further in the team because I was more focused on the offense. I'll be 100% honest. But at least in the first portion of team, E-Man looked good. E-Man looked ready, and you also talked about literal look. Again, he's wearing that number 4. He had the cutoff hoodie. I'm a sucker for a cutoff hoodie on DBs. So he had the swag on point. The 4 looked good. Cutoff hoodie. Great pass breakup. We're happy. We're happy. So, Coach, you should be happy as well. We're very happy with that. So that was good news. That was a good development to see those guys come back. I'm gonna transfer now to the trenches. The trenches. One of the things with the trenches is that's been the main thing that I've been watching Um, it's the main thing that I've been watching since I got there on Monday. I have just been watching offensive line, defensive line, trying to do as much as I can to see what this group is. Because again, it's a hard position to follow. It's a hard you got to track it. You're and this is the biggest context with offensive line and defensive line play is you're going to lose. You're going to miss plays. You're going to miss technique. Those things happen. So I want to preface that by saying when we say someone doesn't do X, Y, and Z, that doesn't mean it's an end all be all type situation. It happens all the time. So it's part of the job description as an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. You get beat. Guess what? It happens. But so one of the biggest takeaways from the offensive line early on in practice is when they're running the ball, this group is really nice. This group is really nice running the ball between the tackles or outside zone, whatever they want to do. When it comes to running the ball, they're up front or they're stout up front. Um, did Alex Mack look a step off? For the most part, he looked okay, but I will say this. I felt like the entire offense looked like a step off today in general. Just it was a weird practice compared to the last three that I'd been to in regards to rhythm. When you're calling plays and doing things as the offense, there's a rhythm, there's a cadence. With the plays that you're calling and so on and so forth. Today felt like it was dialed back a bit. Um, Felt like the rhythm wasn't there. It felt a little bit different today. But in regards to offensive line play, Trent Williams rarely loses. Rarely loses. He looks again like the best left tackle in the NFL, the most drippiest left tackle in the NFL as well. Trent Williams is a stud. He's a guy that we don't have to worry about too much at all. Um, Laken Tomlinson is Laken Tomlinson. He is going to be there and he will play every snap and he will be doing his job for the majority of the snaps. Again, being an offensive lineman, it's in your nature. You're going to lose some reps. It happens. But the biggest measure is how consistently you win versus how consistently you lose. That's how you measure offensive linemen. So with Laken Tomlinson, he is in the plus category. Again, Alex Mack has been huge, has been huge for this team. He is going to do so much for the offensive line, for the running game, pass protection, all of it. Really good. So remember yesterday? Yesterday, I noticed there was this weird thing going on at right guard because when they all came out in the first walkthrough with team, Brunskill was not in at right guard. It was Colton McKivitz. So that was interesting. I was like, and I made a big deal about it because I've been watching this group for a while. And it was really interesting to me because Brunskill moved to second string center. Again, Aaron Banks has been running with the twos all week. But when Brunskill went to backup center, McKivitz went to right guard. So I put out a tinfoil hat theory that the whole reason that went down was to help Trey Lance. Because from what I've seen from number 64, Jake Brendel, who's been the backup center, he has struggled a bit. He has struggled. So it felt like they wanted to get someone like Brunskill. Again, Brunskill started NFL games at center. Again, last year he was inexperienced, but he has enough experience now. So to me, it felt like they moved Brunskill to the second team center to help Trey Lance get a better quality offensive lineman in front of him, snapping and blocking. That's what it felt like. Because again, go back to today, Brunskill goes back to starting right guard, and he did not leave the starting unit. When it was the starting unit up, Brunskill was out. So, again, yesterday was a weird day at the right guard position. But as I was thinking about it more and more, my theory was, well, they moved Brunskill to back up center to play with Trey. And based on today, I feel like I was correct in that assumption because again, Brunskill's back at right guard, was in every first team rep at right guard. So that's what it feels like. That's really what it felt like. Because from anything that I'm seeing for the most part, Brunskill is doing a great job at right guard. Um, you know, I I still think Brunskill is working on maintaining the line of scrimmage and kind of holding his ground a little bit more. But other than that, in regards to speed, technique, all those kinds of things, Brunskill's doing his job and doing what he's supposed to do. So I feel pretty good with that. And then Mike McGlinchey, Mike McGlinchey is having his ups and his downs. He's had some really good reps. He's had some reps I know he wishes he had back. But that's just, again, I tried to preface it earlier. It's the nature of the position. You're going to win, you're going to lose. And it also speaks to how good our defense is. We have a really good defensive line. It's really, really, really special. It's really, really fun to watch. Mike McGlinchey had a couple good reps today. He had a couple where he won against D Ford, Arden Key. Oh, he had a really good pickup. He had a really good pickup on a stunt where D Ford crashed inside. And so what Mike did is he kind of took D Ford inside with him to ensure D Ford wasn't getting inside pressure. And then they had a defensive tackle loop around D Ford to try and get on the outside of McGlinch, and it was a really good stunt. It was a really, really good stunt, and McGlinchy was able to pick it up and push the looping defensive tackle out of the way so Jimmy could, I believe it was Jimmy, could make the pass. So I liked it. It was a good, and those are hard stunts to pick up. They're very hard stunts to pick up. So I like that he was able to do it. And since we're kind of talking, and so D Ford and Mike McGlinchey, talk about iron sharpening iron. D Ford looks solid, man. D Ford looks better than I think what anyone could have anticipated him looking like. He looks like he's ready to go. Again, we're gonna knock on wood. We're gonna pray to whatever we pray to, and we're gonna do all of those kinds of things to ensure we don't jinx it, because D Ford every day in practice is taking steps forward to be better, and he looks really, really good. You could actually see him working his moves in succession against Mike McGlinchey, and he did something that was really, really good, and I liked it a lot because we all know D Ford has outside speed, super, super good. So McGlinchey, you could tell, is trying to account for the outside speed, and so he's trying to really get out of his pass set and do all those kinds of things. Well, D Ford is playing the game within the game. He understands Mike McGlinchey is trying to get out and protect the speed rush. And so what D Ford would do would set up outside speed, then he hit a bull rush, and then he hit an inside move where he won on both. But like I said, McGlinchey got him back a couple times, and McGlinchey won on key versus one rep. So it's a battle that I like. I like it. McGlinchey's winning and D Ford is winning. I would say D Ford might have had the upper hand today, but for the most part, you're seeing these guys battle back and forth, and that's really awesome to see because those two are making each other better every day. D Ford is making McGlinchey better every single day. Again, what McGlinchey is working on in that scenario is ensuring that he's getting enough depth for the speed, but he's also maintaining his depth in his pass set so that he can crash down if the defender goes inside, or anchor if he gets bull rushed. You're seeing them work on it. You're seeing it do all that. So I like it. I like it. Again, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Ford looks good. McGlinch looks big. It's like that one gif that people keep posting. It's like King Kong versus Godzilla, like just two big suckers going at it. So it's a battle that I definitely want to watch further. I do want to talk about Banks. So again, I think I've been quick to point out Banks a little bit in the sense of, he's maybe not playing at the level that he would like to be playing at. But I did want to say that I did see some better effort today out of Banks. I did see him win a couple. He looked a little bit more intentional with what he was doing. So I think Banks took a step forward in practice today. Still wasn't a fantastic practice, but again, I think he took a little step forward, and that's the biggest thing as an offensive lineman is you got to stack small wins, stack small win on top of small win. So with Aaron Banks, that's what we want to see. He had a couple good plays in pass set, and he had a couple good plays in the run game. So all we can ask for right now. But again, this seems like this is Brunskill's job, and might be for some time unless he starts going through it a little bit. I've seen some guys asking about Samson Ebukam. He didn't practice today, so we didn't get to see him. We've talked a ton about the defense in regards to D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans continues to show that his blitz packages, his alignments are going to be exotic. You hear that word a lot when talking about defenses and defenses that are scheme dependent in the sense that they're running a bunch of different looks at you from a bunch of different alignments, having players move up all over the place in different areas. This defense is going to be exotic. So it's gonna be really fun to watch. They're blitzing DBs, they're blitzing linebackers, they're blitzing everyone. They're bringing all different guys from everywhere. I see you guys talking about Jalen Hurd. Jalen Hurd had his first catch today of team period. He hadn't had a team period catch since I'd been there. I believe from talking to Jordan Elliott and Jason Aponte, who were with me today. He hadn't caught a pass in previous practices either. So we got to see our first catch from Jalen Hurd today. And Jalen Hurd is looking good. He's running the routes. He's doing it all. He's out there. He's getting run. And that's the most we can ask for right now. Again, he caught his first pass. I believe it was like a slant over the middle. Nothing too crazy, but he caught it and did all that. And the SF Niners too, you talking like that, so you about to get blocked. I appreciate you, but you're blocked. We don't do that. We don't do that. So he's gone. Let's see. So I talked about it. I tweeted it a little bit. And is today really? Oh, that guy's getting the block for sure. We don't. Today was a weird in the sense of there wasn't a lot of rhythm. There wasn't a lot of. Just didn't feel like the offense was in rhythm today. At least in regards to the passing game, again, it felt like they were rotating wide receiver grouping after wide receiver grouping after wide receiver grouping. There was no way to determine who was getting favorites other than Debo on IU. So other than that, it was just a revolving door. Travis Benjamin had the catch of the day. Travis Benjamin had the catch of the day. That was from Trey Lance, the 50-yard bomb down the middle of the field, essentially. Trey Lance, again, gave Travis Benjamin a shot, and Travis Benjamin was covered. Travis Benjamin had fantastic coverage on him. He had a guy right in front of him. And again, it's one of these things that we just see Trey Lance believes in his guys enough to be able to throw the ball up and allow them to go make a play. And Travis Benjamin made a play. He went over the top, snagged the ball over the defender's head. It was a great play. Absolute great play. We didn't really see Trey take many more shots other than one. And the one shot he did take, it was a bit of a wobbler. Clearly didn't come out of his hand super well and landed incomplete. So that was really the only deep pass we had today. Everything else was short to intermediate. So again, it was just, it's just a weird practice. In regards to some of the running plays, there was a couple where the O-line opened up a hole where you could drive a Mack truck through, and you see guys like Mostert and Sermon just kind of popping through with ease. So, like I said, the offensive line from a run blocking standpoint have been solid, been on point, and doing their job. And the running backs are, for the most part, thriving behind them. The O-line did struggle a couple times in team period with pass setting. There would have been a couple sacks today by the defensive linemen. These flies are killing me right now. And so and let's see. And so Dante Johnson was the cornerback that was in coverage. Trying to think, what else do we want to? So one of the interesting developments from practice today, I won't go too far in depth because I know that the 49ers are trying to keep it kind of low key, but I'll just mention it. Trey Lance in individual period, Jimmy Garoppolo, Sudfeld, and Rosen, they were on to the other side of the field where they were throwing to the wide receivers and, throwing routes just like you would in individuals and doing all that. But on the opposite side of the field, there's Trey Lance by himself with the running backs and only Deebo Samuel. And what they were doing was zone read, handoffs, and a little option. I won't go too much further into that because I know, like I said, it's a scheme thing. And I know the 49ers don't want us talking a lot about that. But again, what I think the biggest takeaway is that it was only Trey Lance working zone read handoffs. That's it. It was only Trey Lance. It wasn't Jimmy. It wasn't no one else. It was only Trey Lance working that technique with the running backs, and that has transferred into team period. Trey Lance is typically the only quarterback that runs zone read in team period. So again, just an interesting development. It appears that is only being installed for Trey Lance. To piggyback off the conversation about the zone read, 2 fumbles today by Trey Lance and Wayne Gallman. I think it's important to note that the handoffs that were fumbled were both to Wayne Gallman, because when you're running zone read and you're running mesh, and mesh is when running backs, they put their arms up like this, and then the quarterback puts the ball in their stomach, and the running backs don't clamp down on the ball. They just hold it there. And when they call that mesh, it's a mesh point. So that's where the 2 fumbles happened. They both happened with Wayne Gallman, so that's part of it. That's a dual situation. Although it goes down as 2 fumbles for Lance, to me it appeared Lance was trying to pull the ball. So when he's doing the mesh, it looked like he was trying to pull it, and if the running back clamps down on the ball and the quarterback tries to pull it, you're likely going to get a fumble. So that's kind of what it felt like. It just kind of felt like those 2 weren't on the same page. But for the most part, Jimmy had a better day today, I would say, than Trey. Again, there wasn't a lot of rhythm. There wasn't, other than the big throw early. Trey was able to complete, a couple passes, across the middle, finding his running backs leak out of the backfield on an angle route and things like that. Trey was able to find Kittle. So Trey was still completing passes and things like that. It just wasn't necessarily to the level that we had seen the past 2 days, past 2 days where he's just been next level. And Jimmy takes the crown of today's best quarterback because he was the most consistent quarterback. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to football and performance is you got to be consistent. So Jimmy was the most consistent today. He hit Debo on an out with a really nice pass, good accuracy, good touch, good velocity. He also hit Brandon Ayuk. I talked about it earlier on a slant against Barrett, another good pass. But again, Jimmy's still not taking a ton of shots downfield. You're getting maybe one deep shot from Jimmy a day, maybe. And he did try to attempt to hit Debo deep down the right sideline, but Jimmy has been consistent with every one of his deep balls that I have seen, and what that consistency is they've been underthrown in the sense that it's not like an underthrow where it turns into a back shoulder where that is an intentional thing. Where you will underthrow to throw a back shoulder. But the way these balls are being underthrown, the wide receiver has to go through the cornerback to get back to the ball, and it's just not working. And Debo got laid out today. Again, so on Tuesday, Ayuk got laid out by Barrett because he tried to come back to the ball, and Barrett just kept going straight and then planted Ayuk on his back. Debo did the same thing today. Tried to come back to the ball, and whoever the defender was just planted him on his back. Because when you're running full speed and you try to stop and come back, but the other defender is running full speed and he doesn't stop, he just takes all that momentum that you stopped and he just puts you on your back. So those are two underthrown balls that has gotten his receivers leveled. And I know they don't like that. So that's the only thing is when Jimmy is taking these shots, they're unfortunately consistently, at least in the 4 days that I've been there, they've been consistently underthrown. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of chatter now. Kyle just admitted today that Trey's going to be taking snaps this year. So it's his first admission of that happening. Mike Silver came out with a wild tweet just before I got on here. I posted it talking about how good Trey Lance is. Mike Silver was at practice on Wednesday. So I think we need to continue to keep an eye on that quarterback position. I'm not saying what's happening or what could happen or what potentially could happen. I'm just saying think of all the ranges of outcomes based on everything we've been hearing out of camp and just be prepared. We don't know what's going to happen. But just be prepared for anything with that quarterback position at this point. So for the most part, like I said, Jimmy I would say Jimmy had the better day today. No wide receiver really elevated themselves like Sherfield had been the 2 days prior. Sherfield, I think, got one or two targets. That was it. One of the targets was a bit high, wasn't able to bring it in. It was an interesting day. The rhythm felt weird. Today. I'll talk about this. So we're gonna do a short one today. I'm gonna hop off in about 2 to 3 minutes. If you guys are on YouTube, I see we got a whole bunch of people on YouTube. So if you want to keep this conversation and you want to keep and get more insight, I'm actually hopping straight over to Jason Aponte's channel with Jordan Elliott, and we're going to do a full breakdown of camp, all three of us, because we've been there watching together and taking notes. So we'll be able, if you guys are on YouTube, just hop on over to Jason's channel and we'll pick up the conversation there. But for the most part, I think something to take away is that Trey Sermon looks really good. Trey Sermon looks really, really good. Not only is he looking, so search Jason Aponte. Search Jason Aponte. Yeah, sprint ride option. You guys, we're not doing the sprint ride option today. We're just doing it off his channel. So go keep an eye out. Jason, it's easy. Jason Aponte. Just type it into YouTube, you'll find it. So we'll be there in 10 minutes to continue this conversation, probably more in depth as well. But like another point I wanted to touch on, Trey Sermon looks really good, man. Trey Sermon looks really, really good. He is out with the ones more than he's not with the ones. He's showing that he can do everything. He's showing he can be a receiver out of the backfield, and not just in the flat either. Not just like little leaks and flats and angle routes. He can go down the seam, and he's making good catches, and he has the ability to catch him over his shoulder. Trey Sermon looks really good. The combination of Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell, and Raheem Mostert, they're going to be good. They're going to be good backs for us. Stupid flies, man. So Trey Sermon looking as advertised. He looks good, man. I mean, honestly, Trey Sermon looks like the guy you could give the ball 30 times to, and he'll be all right. So, again, running between the tackles, outside zones, leaking out of the backfield, making plays in the middle of the field as a pass catcher. He's doing it all, and he really looks the part. He really looks like an NFL running back. So, like I said, I think all of them. And again, Elijah Mitchell is pretty much uncoverable out of the backfield. No one can cover Elijah Mitchell. Hockett, the fullback, is having a good camp. Again, Dwelly, Juszczyk needs to get more opportunities in the pass game. So we're really good at that. So again, the combination of how well our running offense looks with the offensive line, with our running backs, it's going to open up things on play action. Again, you add the zone read, another wrinkle that defenses have to look out for. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. I think fans are going to be pretty happy with what that looks like. Wayne Gallman has been up and down. He has shown plenty of instances where you're like, okay, there we go, Wayne. There he is. But then he's also showed instances where, like, he had the two fumbles. I don't know if that's his fault or Trey's fault, but he was involved, and things like that. So, and he's been up. He's had good reps in 1v1 as a pass catcher, and he's also gotten so it's, again, he's having good reps, but he's also had a couple bad ones. So it is what it is. So there we go. Thank you. Really quick before I hop off here. Again, it's going to be a perfect transition for all you guys because we're just going to hop into essentially. I want to take all of you, and if you're on YouTube right now, first make sure you like and subscribe this video. And then once we do that, then we make the great migration over to Jason Aponte's channel. Y'all riding with me. We out. We're going to show up to Jason Aponte's thing like 600 deep right off the rip. You guys got to roll with me. Let's make that one legendary. Here is the name if you want to find it and spell it, all that good stuff. So yeah, basically to wrap it up before I head over there, everything, it was a weird practice in regards to rhythm. Emmanuel Moseley looked good. First day back in pads with us for training camp. On top of that, we what was I gonna say? Tavon Wilson looks good. Verrett looks good. Our DBs look good when they're intact and the starting unit is out there. It looks like no one's going to be able to do anything on them. The linebackers looking solid as always. Let's see what else is there. Defensive line is deep as hell. Mo Hurst looked good. Arden Key had a couple reps. We just have these wave of defensive linemen that we're going to be able to throw out. Juwan Jennings looked nice. Again, it was my first time ever seeing him in person. So he looks nice. He looked, again, you see the size, but you also see the ability. Warner is, we don't talk about Warner because Warner's the best NFL linebacker. He's the best linebacker in the NFL, and he plays like that, which is why no one really talks much about him. Dre Greenlaw had a pretty solid rep today. I forget exactly. It's in my notes, but he had a really good rep today. Again, O-line, D-line continue to battle back and forth. Love what they're doing in the trenches. It's going to translate super, super, super well to the season, in my opinion. Let's see, wide receiver, tight end. It's Kittle, Dwelly. Those two top-notch tight ends. Perkins, the guy that we signed off the streets recently, looked pretty good. He's looked pretty good. Matthews, looked good as well. So right guard position, it's back to Brunskill, and it's back to being kind of normal with Brunskill over there. So for the most part, the team is looking really good, but you can tell we're in the thick of install. We're in the thick of figuring out which groups go out with what group. Again, I think we're really going to have a better understanding once they actually just give Trey Lance first team reps, because one of the things that is said quite a bit is that, well, Trey Lance is only going up against the second team defense. Well, is true in regards to the offense. He has the second team offensive line in front of him, and the second team offensive line is a pretty substantial drop off from the first team. So Trey Lance is getting pressure quicker in his face. Trey Lance is going to maneuver the pocket a little bit more than maybe he would with the first team and things like that. So it goes both ways. It really goes both ways. So we'll see. I'm really excited to, again, Lance is still working with the number one positions, but still behind that second team offensive line unit. Banks had a better day today. Banks had a better day today. Still up and with Banks, but I feel like he did have a better day today than he had the last couple days. So that's good. And we just want to keep, again, small wins as an offensive lineman. Just keep stacking small wins. You're going to take your L's as an offensive lineman. It comes with description. They know that. That's why they don't harp on every loss, maybe as hard as fans do, because inside that building, they know how difficult it is to play offensive line. So they understand it's not if you get beat, it's when you get beat. Again, Trent Williams, probably the best player on this team. He got beat. He rarely gets beat, but he got beat today. It happens. Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. That's how it works as an offensive and defensive lineman. So again, Aaron Banks is a rookie. The trench game is much different than college than it is in the pros. We have an insanely good defensive line. So those are all things to take into account. So I'm not too worried about it. He's just taking his time to develop at his pace. All right, so that's it. So if you want to keep this conversation going, again, I am now going to hop over to Jason Aponte's channel. You see it on YouTube on the screen. I'll be over there with Jordan Elliott as well. We're going to go through all our notes and get through all that good stuff. So that's where you'll find us here. Again, if you are watching right now on YouTube, before you head over to Jason Aponte's channel, please like and subscribe to my channel and like this video. And I'll see you guys over there. Appreciate y'all. This card. All right. I'll see you guys. We're all going, right? All of us. Go. There's the name. Type it in the search. We're going to Jason's channel. I expect all of you to be there.